All right, thank you, Megan. When a fire is finally put out, what happens to all the debris? Chances are it's the property owner's responsibility. And if it's neglected, then it becomes the government's issue to take care of. In efforts to prevent abandonment of property and to get the local government to help cover the costs, the Minot Fire Department wants insurance companies to get involved. During last week's special Minot City Council meeting, Fire Chief Kelly Kronschnabel says they want insurance companies to withhold $5,000 or 10% of the policy coverage limit. The real property loss would be held in a lien so that the local government can have the money to pay for debris after a fire if needed.
Discourages abandonment of the properties, especially by the properties that are non-owner occupied, can expedite returning properties to productive use, helps local governments cover the cost if it is abandoned, and helps kind of reduce the amount of risk for these hazards when they are neglected for a long period of time.
Now, the chief says they are doing research on other states that have this law in place. She adds that it will be another tool for their department to get the help they need.